So at this point, I have played more than enough Warzone 2 to be able to say that it is absolutely terrible. Why is it terrible? Mainly because of all the issues. The crashing, the glitches, various bugs. That's the main reason why I say it is absolutely horrible. Now, you know, some people like to say, oh, well, minus all like the issues, it's actually pretty good. You know, when the game's not crashing, it's not that bad. We're not doing that. We're not doing, oh, it's good if all these other things that happen every game didn't happen. I'm not doing that. Like, those things do happen. The game does crash every other game or every game. So it's horrible. It's a terrible experience. And it's crazy to me that there's actually people out there that will tell you Warzone 2 is pretty good. People will say Warzone 2 is good. That is insane. Now, there might be some people out there that are lucky and they don't experience these issues that so many people are experiencing. Maybe their game's not crashing by some stroke of luck. But listen, if things are working fine for you, but are like completely broken for everybody else, well, that doesn't make the mode good just because it's working for you. I mean, that's an even bigger issue. If the mode works fine for some people and is broken beyond belief for so many others. If I'm playing a game and people are experiencing all kinds of issues that I'm not experiencing, and maybe I'm having fun with that game, I will not say it's a good game just because I'm not experiencing those issues. No, I will recognize that, hey, the game might be working fine for me, but it's not for so many other people. Now, the odds that Warzone 2 is working fine for some people, I mean, the odds of that are very slim. On PC, that is. I mean, that's where I've been playing, on PC. I don't know what the experience is like on console. And just to be clear, the game obviously should work fine on PC. So first, let's talk about all the crashing that occurs on PC in both Warzone and the new DMZ mode. And just know that a lot of what I'm talking about here applies to both Warzone and DMZ. And what's funny is that they're calling DMZ a beta. Like, it's called the DMZ beta. But Warzone 2 is not being called a beta? That's insane to me. It's insane that they're calling DMZ a beta, but not Warzone. No, if DMZ is a beta, Warzone is absolutely a beta as well. The game is so buggy and unpolished, and it's easily the most broken battle royale I've ever played. The new Warzone 2. It is that broken. And this isn't just me ranting about a video game or a mode that I don't like, and that's why I'm ranting about it. No, like this mode is legitimately broken. It has so many issues. And that's like the one thing I was really hoping for with this new Modern Warfare 2. Because it looked so much like Modern Warfare 2019, I was hoping that with this game they'd be able to polish and refine things, right? Like, it doesn't look all that different. So I was hoping, you know, they'd put some extra polish on the game, right? No, this is the most broken battle royale that I have ever played, and it's not even close. So when I'm playing Warzone and I'm usually playing quads, just about every game somebody crashes. Sometimes multiple people crash in the same game, and we crash multiple games in a row. It's insane. It's insane. Like, when it's hard to get through a game of Warzone without it crashing on PC. From my experience, and many others would agree. Like, that's incredibly broken. And yet, somehow, people are able to get nukes in this Warzone 2.0. And for those of you who don't know, you can get a nuke in Warzone 2, but to be eligible for the nuke, you first have to win 5 Warzone games in a row. How the fuck? How in the actual fuck are people doing that without their game crashing? That's what I don't understand. Like, people might be, if somebody gets a nuke, people might look at that as like, oh my God, that's really impressive. These guys are so good. I don't look at it like that. I just look at it like you're the luckiest motherfuckers out there. How are you? That's what's impressive to me. If somebody gets a nuke in Warzone, is that their game didn't crash. That's what's so impressive to me. So just know, if you've gotten a nuke in Warzone 2 on PC, I can't really speak for console, you are incredibly lucky. Like, just know that, like, how much luck was involved in that, because me and my squad, the people that I play with, and I've played with a variety of different people, we're crashing like every other game, if not every game. And like I mentioned, this happens in DMZ as well. And in DMZ, since it's like a extraction type of mode, when your game crashes, you lose your gear. Like this, I mean, in this DMZ mode in Warzone 2, it's not like you really have anything that incredible, but like you are losing your shit if you die in the DMZ and you don't extract, or if your game crashes. And I think I've gone into the DMZ about like maybe 5 times, and 2 of the times somebody crashed. One of the times it was me, another time it was a friend, and because he crashed, we couldn't make it to the exfil, and I died. So I lost my shit 2 out of about 5 times because of crashing. It's ridiculous. And again, people will tell you that these modes are good. That's what's so crazy. I can understand saying it's fun, right? I can understand you saying, hey, despite all the issues, despite the crashing, I'm still having fun when it does work. I get that, but don't say the mode's good. Like, don't say it's good when it is like nonstop crashing for so many people. All right, don't say it's good. If you think these are good experiences with the issues that are currently present, just stay far, 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 far away from game development. Now, aside from all the crashing, there's other issues with Warzone 2. Something else I've noticed is I'm playing in a lot, and I mean a lot, of high latency games. I mean, when I'm searching for a Warzone match, like sometimes we'll be searching for like 150 ping. Now, and I don't know if this is because of skill-based matchmaking, and that's why it's putting us into high latency games, because of that strict skill-based matchmaking. I don't know if that's what it is. I don't know what it is, but I do know that I'm playing in a lot of high ping games, laggy-ass games. Sometimes players are moving around the map in like 5 FPS. Looting is delayed. It's incredibly laggy. And so that is another huge issue, because almost every game is very laggy. All right, so almost every game is extremely laggy, and almost every game somebody's crashing. So, okay, so there's 2 different things right there. Like, so combine them, and you can start to see, if you haven't played Warzone 2 on PC, you can start to see how this experience is god-awful. There's also plenty of issues with looting in this game. First off, the looting system, like by design, isn't great. Like, it could be better, but there's also like bugs, glitches involved with the looting. Like, sometimes there will be an item on the ground, or there will be an enemy backpack on the ground, and you just can't pick up the weapon, or you can't search their loot. It just, the option will not pop up to pick that item up. And so you kind of gotta, like, you gotta wait, you gotta try to get different angles on the weapon and crouch and go prone and do all these different things, and then eventually you might have the option pop up so that you can pick that weapon up. There was one time, like, I lost my gun. We lost the game because I dropped my gun on the ground, and then I wanted to pick it back up, and it wouldn't let me pick it up, and then the zone was coming, the gas was coming, and I had to go, and I lost my weapon, and then we lost the game, like, because I couldn't pick up my weapon. And that happens a lot. There's plenty of loot in this game where it won't let you access it. It's really buggy, and, you know, after fucking with it for a while and trying to pick it up, maybe eventually it will finally let you, but there's just no excuse for that, man. Not with how many people worked on this game and the rumored budget and the rumored however many studios it was like 11 studios or something like that. There are some ground loot items in Warzone 2 that are supposed to auto pick up when you're near them, like cash or ammo for the weapons you have, but sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you could be standing right in front of cash or ammo for a weapon you have, and it just doesn't pick it up, and you have to manually pick it up. So not even that works right. Sometimes you can't pick up the right item when loot is too close to each other or stacked on top of each other. Sometimes loot gets stuck in like a wall or some type of geometry, and you can't pick it up because it's stuck in that thing. It's a mess. There's various different bugs regarding looting in this game. This is a AAA game, one of the biggest video game franchises of all time, Call of Duty. And the fact that this game is in the state that it is, especially when you had a Warzone 1 that was way more polished than this piece of trash, like that's just crazy, man. That's insane. They also have this new revive pistol in this game in Warzone 2. And I think that's funny because they put, it's like, that's a new item in this game. It's a revive pistol. You can shoot your teammate when they're down and it'll revive them. But the thing just doesn't fucking work from my experience. There was one time where a teammate of mine was down and I shot them 3 times with the revive pistol, and I'm going to show the clip right now, and it didn't revive him. I shot him 3 times with the revive pistol. I don't know if there's a range to this thing. You're seeing the clip. I'm pretty sure that should have revived him with at least one of those shots, if not all of those shots. But it just didn't work. And then another issue I've had with the revive pistol is one time it completely just disappeared in my inventory. Like I had it equipped and then I swapped it out for a portable radar. I threw the portable radar down and then I went to re-equip the revive pistol in my inventory. It was just gone. But what I noticed is my secondary weapon, which was a sniper rifle, it was showing the icon for the revive pistol, and you're seeing the clip of that right now as well. It was showing that my sniper rifle was a revive pistol, and then I dropped that weapon and it was a sniper rifle, and basically my revive pistol just disappeared, like without even getting to use it. So that was another issue with it. So there's this new item in the game that barely functions. And here's another similar issue where it's displaying the weapon in my inventory incorrectly. Like it says I have a pistol, but I actually had an AK, and you can see that when I drop the weapon. And that's another issue I've ran into many times. Here's a clip of a teammate of mine in the gas, and he was trying to make a clutch moment by buying a gas mask from a buy station, but in this spot where there's supposed to be a buy station, it wasn't there, and right before he dies, you can see the buy station load in. So it just didn't load in when he went to go buy a gas mask, and then we lost the game. So, and that's something I've noticed. I noticed how when you're in a bad situation in this game, the glitches and the crashes seem to be more prevalent. Like when you're in a bad situation, the game fucks you even more. Like for example, like a teammate of mine will crash and then all of a sudden I'll become hunted. Somebody will pick up one of those bounty contracts and I'm hunted. Like right when after my teammate crashes. I know that's probably a coincidence, but it happens all the time. Teammate crashes, oh, now I'm hunted. Or, oh, I'm the last player, we all died, I'm the last player alive, oh, now I'm hunted. Somebody picked up the bounty contract. It's just like it happens at really inconvenient times. It's really weird. And then sometimes where you're having a bad game and nothing is going right, and then you're the last alive, and you're just, everything is against you, and you're somehow managing, you're somehow pulling through and making plays, and then your game crashes. Like something has to fuck you. Like you were not meant to win that game. And this clip right here perfectly showcases what I'm talking about. So this is a clip where my friend, he got the bomb drone glitch, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But basically, sometimes when you go to use your drone, recon drone or bomb drone, you get glitched and basically you can't move until you die. Like you just can't move. Anyways, this is the first time he experiences that glitch, and you know, we're in a bad situation because he can't move, and then he gets hunted. He gets hunted when he's in this glitch. And there's been several other situations where this has happened, where we're in a really bad spot and then one of us gets hunted because somebody picked up that bounty contract. I'm telling you, man, it happens at the worst fucking times, I swear. I know it's probably a coincidence, but it's just really strange. Another issue a teammate of mine experienced in Warzone was their HUD disappearing because they tried to use a kill streak. When you try to use like a mortar strike or an airstrike or something like that, your HUD disappears, but it's supposed to reappear when after you use the kill streak or you put the kill streak away. His HUD just remained off, never came back, so that was another issue. Another issue I've experienced in this Battle Royale is my parachute not deploying. Like here's a clip right here where I jumped off of a building, and the entire time I'm just spamming deploy parachute and nothing happened. It just didn't deploy. So I died of fall damage and we lose the game. And that is plenty of height to deploy your parachute in this game. I've deployed my parachute from shorter heights than that. And I do kind of feel like the fall damage in this Battle Royale is kind of egregious at times. Like, before the Battle Royale came out and I was just playing the normal Modern Warfare 2 6v6 multiplayer, I don't think there's any fall damage in that. Like, I was running around the maps trying to take fall damage and I couldn't, and I loved that. I thought that felt great, being able to jump off of buildings, dive through windows, and not take any fall damage. And I hate it. I hate it in Warzone 2. I do think there should obviously be some fall damage, but I think it's a little too egregious. Like, I've seen plenty of clips of people die when they're parachuting in because they cut their parachute too early. Like, they're close to the ground, but with how much fall damage you take in this game, it just kills you. Another really strange issue I encountered in Warzone 2, and this is one of the weirder ones, is this right here, where the sky was insanely bright. It was just really, really bright. Couldn't see anything when I looked in that direction. And then it also showed this weird distortion of whatever this is. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was looking at. But just add this to the list of issues you encounter in Warzone 2. And add that to the list of games we lost because my game was glitched. There's an issue when you go into your, I don't know if it's exclusive to the bomb drone or both the bomb drone and the recon drone, but sometimes when you go into your drone, you won't be able to move. And then I think even after the drone is destroyed, you still can't move. You just become bricked, essentially. That's another issue that's happened to a lot of people. And this happened to me my last game of Warzone that I've played, actually, and I haven't played since. Me and my team, we were near the end of the game, and I pulled out a recon drone, and yeah, I got glitched, so I couldn't move. You're seeing the clip of that right now. That is one of many games that we've lost because of bugs or crashes. We lose probably the majority of our games because of bugs and crashes. That's how bad this mode is. It is absolutely terrible. And it's just, there's so many other things, man. I don't even feel like talking about it anymore, man. Like, I've made my point. This mode is absolutely terrible, and yet it's as big as it is right now. There's still tons of people playing it, and many people will say it's actually good. Many people, again, if you don't think that Warzone 2 is horrible, On PC, in the current state that it is in, do everyone a favor and stay far away from game development, because it is absolutely that bad. Even if it's not that bad from your experience, that makes no difference. That makes no difference when it is beyond broken for so many other people. That is an issue, especially when it's a AAA game, part of one of the biggest video game franchises of all time, okay? Like that's not good. If this was like an indie developer, then, you know, maybe you can cut them some slack, but that's not the case. Now, that's enough discussion regarding the different bugs and crashes in Warzone 2. Now I want to talk a little bit about conscious decisions that were made with Warzone 2. And many of them are questionable. And I want to start with the gulag. So just like in Warzone 1, when you die up to a certain point, because the gulag can close towards the end of the game, but when the gulag is open and you die, you go to the gulag. And that is your chance to gain re-entry into the Battle Royale if you win it. And in Warzone 1, the gulag was 1v1. 1v1, you versus another player. If you kill them, you get back in. And after a certain amount of time, if nobody killed each other, I think there was like a flag that spawned in the middle, and you had to capture it. And that's how you got back in. In Warzone 2, instead of the gulag being 1v1, it's actually 1v2. People tell me it's 2v2. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Clearly, it is 1v2. So when you spawn into the gulag, there's two enemy players, and then there's you and this thing on your team that doesn't do anything. So it's a 1v2. I don't really understand why we make those decisions. It's absolutely terrible. I mean, sometimes you do the gulag with your teammate, right? Like sometimes if you and a person on your squad die at the same time, you'll do the gulag together, but that's not even consistent. Sometimes you and another player on your team will die at the same time and you don't do the gulag together. I don't know why that's not like a guaranteed you're on the same team in the gulag, like when you die at the same time. It absolutely should be, but it's not. Almost every time that I've won a gulag, not every time, but almost every time, I've had to get both kills to get out of the gulag. Like I said, you're basically playing a 1v2. Now there's also a new mechanic in the gulag. There's a jailer that'll come out, basically in like a juggernaut suit with a turret, and you know that the jailer comes out after a certain amount of time has passed if nobody's won, and the jailer will start shooting at players. And you could kill the jailer and everybody in the gulag gets out, or you can ignore the jailer and try to kill the enemy team and win that way. And if nobody wins after a certain amount of time, then everybody loses and nobody gets out of the gulag. So anyways, I'm not really a fan of the changes they've made to the gulag in Warzone 2. I think it should still be 1v1. I think that was fine, much better than 1v2. And I also don't really like the jailer, because sometimes like the other team could be hiding in like the back of the map on their side, and you have this jailer out, and like if nobody kills them or nobody wins, then everybody loses the gulag. So sometimes you're in a situation where you kind of have to make your way past the jailer to the other side of the map to kill the enemy team if they're playing passive and hiding. So there's that. I'm not a huge fan of the jailer either. So yeah, Warzone 1's gulag was definitely superior. Now, outside of the gulag, in the actual Battle Royale, which takes place on the map Al-Mazrah, which I do like this map more than Verdansk, which was the launch Warzone map in Warzone 1. Al-Mazrah, it might be a little too big, or this Battle Royale could maybe use some more players. I can definitely see that. But visually it's not that impressive, but I do like the different locations in Al-Mazrah more than Verdansk in Warzone 1. So I guess that's one thing that I do like. I like the map more. And in Warzone 2, it feels a little more slower paced, a little more tactical than Warzone 1. And you can see that with how you have to loot in Warzone 2 and with how the pacing of the game is. Like in Warzone 1, the looting system in that game, it was kind of like vacuum looting where you just run around and everything, like all the loot just gets sucked to you. And it was very easy to get your loadout in that game because you could buy it from a buy station. You just got a couple bucks, which, I mean, at the launch of Warzone 1, it was especially easy to get your loadout because, again, there was cash everywhere, and that's when the loadout price in the buy station was at its cheapest. So you just land somewhere, go in a house, get a couple bucks, go to the buy station, buy your loadout, and you were pretty much good to go. Because at the launch of Warzone 1, there was no additional like armor vests. There's not tiered armor like level 3, level 4 armor. There's nothing like that. So yeah, in Warzone 1, it was very easy to get your loadout and you were pretty much good to go. And after that, you were pretty much just trying to find money to buy kill streaks and maybe do some contracts to find out, to discover like later ring locations or zone locations. But in Warzone 2, when it comes to your loadout, you cannot buy it from a buy station. There's these Warzone loadout drops later in the game, and that's how you can get your loadout, or you can complete a stronghold and get your loadout like that. And I think you can also get it from the black site, which is like a stronghold. But it's not as easy to get your loadout, and sometimes it's not even worth the risk. Like sometimes you might not want to risk going for a loadout drop because other players might be camping it, and you know, you might have decent guns that you picked up off the ground, and you might be it just might not be worth the risk to get the loadout. And also with the new Modern Warfare 2, they made changes with the movement coming from Modern Warfare 2019, so you don't have players running around slide canceling, which I'm actually glad. I was not a fan of slide canceling. So that kind of slows things down a little bit. And I will say, like, when it comes to Battle Royale, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Battle Royale. Like, I'll just put that out there. But when it comes to Battle Royale, I am more of a fan of it being slower paced and more tactical. So I don't mind that aspect of it with Warzone 2. With some of the later Warzone maps in Warzone 1, like I think it was Rebirth Island, at that point it almost felt like you were just playing like a big game of TDM, you know what I mean? Like you just land and there's just people everywhere. And some people love that. I don't really fuck with that. I'd rather just play normal multiplayer at that point. I do like the Battle Royale to be slower paced, more tactical. And you know, that's the reason I started playing Battle Royale with PUBG, because it did kind of look like that when I first saw it. H1Z1 was the popular Battle Royale before PUBG, and when I was watching that, I didn't really fuck with it. From what I seen, there was a lot of like driving around in cars, jumping out of the car, shooting, getting back in the car, and I wasn't really a fan of that style. But then when I saw PUBG and it looked slower and more tactical, it appealed to me. So that's what I like in a Battle Royale. So I do like that Warzone 2 is a little more slower paced than Warzone 1. But at the same time, I can see how people say it's too slow. So, you know, maybe the zones need to move faster. Maybe there needs to be more people. Or maybe the issue is there's not enough incentive to keep looting. There's not enough things to do. Sometimes you'll get your weapons and you'll buy some kill streaks and you'll have your 3-plate armor vest and you're kind of good to go. Yeah, there's other things you can do. You can get more money. Maybe there's a loadout drop you can go for, but sometimes that's not even worth the risk. If you're going for the win, it might be best just to stay put in a house, in zone. But doing that can be very boring and a lot of downtime. And, you know, I'm not the type, I don't like to go for kills or do things just to do things just so I'm moving around. Like, I like going for the win. but sometimes going for the win and doing what's best, making the best plays to secure that win, sometimes that can be really, really boring. You could just be sitting in a house doing nothing for a while. So I don't know. I feel like there needs to be more of an incentive to keep looting, more of a reason to move around the map and complete different tasks. I don't know. I'm actually not a fan of loadouts in Warzone. I didn't like it in Warzone 1. I didn't like it. I don't like it in Warzone 2. I'm not a fan of that. I wish you had the loot for all that. Like, put perks on the map. Put perks on the map that you have to loot for, you can find. And you could do the same thing with attachments, maybe, right? There's so many different attachments in this game, right? And you can tune each attachment differently. I don't know why they didn't put attachments on the map that you have to find. I don't know if that would be good, but if you had attachments and perks scattered around the map like that, then there would be more of an incentive to keep looting, trying to find the perk you want, or trying to find the attachment that you want for your gun, so it keeps you moving around. I don't know. That might not be great, but that's just an idea. But you have to find that balance in Battle Royale games. Like, something I'm not a fan of in other Battle Royale games, especially Apex Legends, is like tiered armor. I don't like when there's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 armor and helmets. I don't like that, because that just makes for a lot of RNG. There were so many times in Apex Legends where I would land somewhere and a team would land close by, and my buildings didn't have any armor, and the other team, they all had purple armor in their building. Right? So now I'm sitting there with white armor, level 1 armor, and they all have purple armor. So I'm at this huge disadvantage because of RNG loot. Like, so I don't really fuck with tiered armor in Battle Royales. So, I wouldn't want to see that in Warzone. I'm not even crazy about the 3-plate vests. I think maybe everybody should just have a 3-plate vest and that's it. But yeah, having tiered armor scattered around the map, that gives you more of an incentive to keep looting, but again, it adds for more RNG, so I don't want that. Maybe Warzone 2 could do some kind of crafting and crafting materials that you gotta find, something like that. There is definitely improvements that can be made to Warzone 2's design and looting system, and definitely improvements that can be made regarding all the bugs and issues. Also, something else that I really don't like about the loadout drops is how when you select your loadout in the loadout crate, it'll drop it'll drop your guns and your grenades and replace that with the loadout you selected from the loadout crate. Now, that sounds pretty obvious, and I get that, but sometimes the guns that I have, like the ground loot in Warzone, or the grenades that I found on the ground, sometimes that's what I want. Sometimes I don't want my loadout weapons or my loadout grenades, but I do want my loadout perks. So it's this weird thing where I select my loadout in the loadout crate to get my perks, and then it drops everything I had before, and then I gotta like stare at the ground and like pick up every item, and then usually you go to a loadout crate together as a team, so everybody else's weapons and shit dropped on the ground right there, so you're like sifting through all these items on the ground. It's already hard to pick up items as is, especially when they're all stacked on top of each other. So that's basically my issue, is like sometimes I just want my perks. I just want the perks, but there's no way to just get the perks. You have to select your loadout, drop all your shit, and then pick your shit back up. I hate it. And another thing that's always bothered me, even in Warzone 1, and this is a smaller thing, but I don't like how you can't check what perks you have, like after you selected your loadout. Like it doesn't show it in your inventory area anywhere. There's as far as I know, there's no way to check which perks you have after you've selected your loadout. Again, that's a smaller thing, but you know, it bothers me that you can't see that. And another thing we got to talk about in Warzone 2 is the time to kill. It is way too fast. Way too fast. And even faster depending on which guns you're using. Like there's these like akimbo pistols people been using. Time to kill is insanely fast. And I swear, sometimes, and I'm not being hyperbolic at all when I say this, sometimes it feels, I mean, no, a lot of the time, it feels like I am dying faster in Warzone than I die in the normal multiplayer. And in Warzone, you have your armor plates. I don't know if they make changes to your base health in Warzone or how that works, but either way, yeah, I feel like I die faster in Warzone most of the time than I do in the normal multiplayer. Like it's insane, man. I mean, you can get dropped so fucking fast in this shit. It shouldn't be that fast. I understand in Warzone, unlike other battle royales, in Warzone there's a lot of ways to come back. Like, you know, for one, you can have self-res. You can revive your, and there's plenty of self-reses on the map. You have your gulag you can win. A teammate can buy you back from a buy station. Regardless of how many times you die, they can keep buying you back. So there's plenty of ways to come back, but that does not justify the time to kill being as fast as it is. And because it's so fast, like you barely even go down in this game, right? Like in plenty of battle royales, when you get shot, you get knocked and you're on the ground and you need a revive. You die so quick in this game, sometimes it doesn't even feel like I go down. And I do think there should be some kind of invincibility frames, so like a player can't wipe you right away when they knock you, because that's what it is. I mean, they kill you and I mean they knock you and just put you right out so quick. And I don't know what it is with some of these weirdos in this game, but something I've experienced multiple times is, you know, I'll get knocked or one of my teammates will get knocked, and that enemy player that knocked us, they will throw their life away just to finish that knock. Like, I get it, like you want to put the player out, but I mean, they will literally jump into our whole team knowing they're gonna die, but they have to finish that knock. They want to finish the knock and then die. And like the smarter play would be to, you know, stay back, play slow, play with their team. But they literally just run in there just to die. Like it is the most retarded shit I've ever seen. People are so thirsty to finish their knocks in this game. I've never seen anything like it. But anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Those are my thoughts on Warzone 2. Absolutely horrible mode. Garbage, terrible, easily the most broken battle royale I've ever played. It's not even close. And I mean, you can say you're having fun with it, cool, but don't try to tell me it's a good mode. Not when it's in the state that it is in. So that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.